I don't like this. I don't like this. I do not like this. We have only 5 games left of the Premier League season, which means only one thing. We need to be looking towards the bottom of the Premier League table to try and figure out who might be leaving us this year. Yes, we're going to be going through the candidates that I believe are in contention for the drop and trying to predict who might be going down. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it with a like and subscribe. It really would mean a lot to me. But now, let's try our very best to predict who might be going down in this relegation battle. Yeah, but before we get into it, I do need to say one thing. Just because I mention your club, if I do mention your club and I mention them possibly going down, it does not mean that I have any personal ill will towards you or your team. I do not have any allegiance with anyone, so I'm just trying to have a bit of a conversation that I want you to get involved in. So please get involved in the comments down below and let me know your thoughts. But this is nothing personal to any team. Now with all of that said and done, let's get on with the video. Here we have the Premier League table and the candidates that I believe are going to be in contention for the Premier League drop. We have Southampton, Everton, Leicester City, Nottingham Forest and Leeds United. They've all played 33 games and they all are within generally the same amount of points. Southampton are a little bit more adrift, but you know exactly what I'm saying. We're going to be going through all of the candidates and going through some of their pros, some of their cons, some of their fixtures that they have coming up and trying to predict who might be set for the deadly drop. And without further ado, let's start with Southampton. It really does not take a genius to tell you that Southampton are not doing very well at the moment, but really they are almost set for relegation, in my opinion. They are 4 points cut adrift from Everton in 19th, and that means that they need a win and something else to claw them back, while Everton are also dropping points. And then you have Leicester City, which are 1 point above them, and when you look at the fixtures on the right hand side, you can see that only Nottingham Forest are the team that they play in and around them. They also have Newcastle, Fulham, Brighton and Liverpool, and to be completely honest, I don't see them getting wins or let alone draws out of any of those matches. So it's looking like a very, very bad situation for Southampton, and considering the fact that they can't even draw on home support because they're so poor at home, it just looks like a very, very doomed situation. Everton are really giving Southampton a run for their money when it comes to doomed situations. 33 games, 28 points, 25 goals scored, the lowest in the Premier League. And then you have a look at these fixtures and you just go, ugh. Leicester is a monumental game away from home for Everton, which is quite bad, to be completely honest with you. Everton haven't won a game away from home since October. It's the only game they've won away from home this season. They haven't won a game away from home under Sean Dyche, who seemingly hasn't had the impact that I think many, including this guy here, thought he would have. You then have a look at the other fixtures and think, Brighton, can they get something out of there? Man City, probably not. And then they go to Wolves, and you might be thinking, well, Wolves have struggled this season. Can they do anything? Well, when I tell you that Wolves have won 6 out of their last 8 home games, including against the likes of Tottenham and against the likes of Liverpool, you might be thinking, no. And then even if they beat Bournemouth, that puts them on 31 points and is 1 point above the relegation zone, enough to try and bring them out. I'm not so sure. Can we take a moment to wonder what on earth has happened to Leicester City this season? It seemed like yesterday that they were gunning for top 4 places in European football, and now they're on the edge of a cliff, holding on by their fingertips to try and keep them in the Premier League. 44 goals is a promising thing. It means that they have a chance to score their way out of this. That being said, 57 goals conceded isn't exactly great, is it? And when you have a look at the fixtures, Everton is such a huge and pivotal game, which is compounded by the fact that they are literally the worst home team in the Premier League, which is absolutely bonkers when you ask me. Fulham, Liverpool and Newcastle all tough matches, and you wouldn't expect them to really get too much out of it. West Ham is again another question mark. Are West Ham safe? Will they be gunning for something else? Will they be saving players for Europe? And all of these questions need to come together, and I just wonder whether Leicester's quality will have enough to be able to see them home. It seems like Nottingham Forest's fairy tale journey back into the Premier League is going to be cut short prematurely. They are not in a good position, are they? 29 goals scored, 60 goals conceded, 31 or a minus 31 goal difference, I should say. And then you look at those fixtures, Brentford away, you have Southampton at home. What a pivotal game that is. That is the main fixture that I'm looking at. If Nottingham Forest win that, they give themselves a chance. Lose it, and it might be all over. Chelsea away, yes, they're in terrible form. Could you get a point there? Could you possibly? Arsenal, are you going to get anything from there? Probably not. And then I tell you that Nottingham Forest are literally the worst away side in the Premier League. They've won 1 game and lost 12. 12 out of 16 matches away from home is just horrendous. And really, can you have any complaints when your form is that bad? Even though it is a fairy tale story. Seemingly it's coming to an end, and it might be just a little bit too much for the Nottingham Forest side to stay up. Oh, Leeds. Leeds, oh Leeds. It seems like Marcelo Bielsa leaving was the catalyst that has really catapulted them into something of a daze. They don't really seem to know what they want to be. At one point, they're trying to be a bit more defensive, but they have a lot of energy, but at the same time, they're not a pressing side. They're just something in between that's a bit nah. And that's possibly one of the worst things I could say about a footballing side, the fact that they have a lack of identity. The player profiles don't really match up, and Jesse Marsch, that experiment didn't work either, and I fear that Javi Gracia might have too much on his hands to be able to try and bring them out of it. If we have a look at the fixtures and where they are, Bournemouth away, you have West Ham away, but when I tell you that Leeds are actually one of the worst teams, in fact the second worst team at going away from home in the Premier League, they've only got 9 points away from home, 11 losses, it doesn't seem like good reading. And then you think that the West Ham game and the Bournemouth game are probably 2 of the games that you're looking at them to get some points in. They're not going to get anything from Man City, Newcastle is going to be doubtful, and Tottenham might be going for European places, and they might have a bit too much for this Leeds United side. So if I'm completely honest, I don't really see where a win comes from, and it seems like their lack of identity and their lack of direction has finally caught up with them. So we've had a look at the candidates, it's now time to look at who might be going down. Up first, or last I suppose in this given situation, is a team that has just given themselves a little bit too much to do towards the bottom of the table. Their appointment of Nathan Jones was a speculative one, and one that has seriously backfired, and definitely one that they will really regret. They made a gamble by going into some youth academy prospects, and it just hasn't panned out for them, and in the end, like I said, it's just been too much and too late for them. It is Southampton. Up next is a club that will really hit the Premier League very hard. It's a side with players that have quality. They are good players, but they are definitely not used to being in this situation, and it seems like the pressure might have finally just gotten to them. The Frank Lampard experiment seriously backfired, and Sean Dyche, I don't think, has the resources nor the time to be able to turn this one around, and it seemingly is a little bit too late. In the background, they are an absolute shambles, and I really don't see how they recover from this if this were to happen, and it is, with shame, Everton. That leaves 1 place remaining, and that place is going to be taken by the team that has the worst defensive record in the league currently. They have a horrible fixture list, including the likes of Man City, Newcastle, Tottenham Hotspur, and they just seem to have a lack of ideas going forwards. They can't score a goal. They are trying their hearts out, it seems, but they just don't have a direction, they don't have a plan, and there seems to be a general malaise around the club. And that's why, among that and so many other reasons, Leeds United, I feel, are destined for the drop. Before we wrap up, let's have a word about these 2 escapists, because they're not exempt from criticism, and it seems to be by more luck than judgment. Nottingham Forest, who thought that signing 22 players was a bad idea? I mean, really, Steve Cooper, in my opinion, has done a fantastic job considering the size of the squad. It's essentially Chelsea. They don't have enough space in the team to be able to deal with the amount of players they have, and they just keep signing players. It's madness. Leicester City have broken literally every single piece of expectation that anyone had for this club, but in the wrong way. They've gone backwards. They've gone literally the wrong way, and it's going to take quite a lot to build them back up. Brendan Rodgers is now gone. It's not going to be an easy fix. Jamie Vardy is getting a little bit older. Yuri Tielemans is going to be leaving, and they're going to want to try and fix this leaky defence. It's not great. They have some quality players, but those quality players are probably going to be leaving. They need to go back to the drawing board and have a look at what made them great. Finally, I'll leave you with this. Nobody likes their club being talked about in a negative light, and nobody likes their club being talked about in terms of a relegation dogfight. So if you've made it this far in the video, thank you. Your club is everything, and the thought about it getting relegated is devastating. So for whatever it's worth, if I have your club in my list, I hope I'm wrong. There's nothing personal in this, and I wish you and your club the very best. That's it for today, guys. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave the video with a like and subscribe if you haven't for more content like this coming very soon. Make sure you hit that notification bell as well. You don't want to miss what's coming up in the near future, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on who is going to get relegated. I want your bottom 3 and why. Please get in touch. I would love to hear from you. But like I said, that's it from me for today. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care of yourselves, and bye-bye.